Breakups are universal. Everyone goes through them, everyone dreads them, everyone feels horrible afterwards, whether that's immediately or later on. But what actually are we supposed to do in the aftermath? What is our grief supposed to look like? And how are we supposed to walk away from it all when it feels like the rug was just ripped out from under us? Let's talk about it. The pain that you experience in a breakup is unique because you know it's an emotional pain, but you feel it physically. Let's put it this way. When you break your leg, you know what to do. You go to the hospital gives you a doctor, the doctor looks at your leg and is like, "Ooh, yeah, that's broken. Here's a cast." And they'll tell you how long it'll take to heal and to not go on any crazy marathons anytime soon. But when you're grieving a breakup, no one can give you a cast on your grief and heartache. No one can really tell you why it hurts, not even yourself. Because there are a lot of things that make it hurt. It's the loss of your person, the loss of the routine you may have created with them, the loss of who you were with this person, and the loss of the future you imagined together. And we can be a little dramatic here. Let's call it a death. Because you can't get any of that back. You can try to. Say you get back together very quickly. It may all seem the same, but you have this looming thought of, we broke up. We were brought to the point of ending our relationship. It's all going to feel different unless something changes. The reason you broke up in the first place was because something wasn't working. You don't break up because, everything was fine. There has to have been an issue, at least one, that brought you to this point. And if both of you are finding yourselves wanting to get back together just because you care for each other or just because you can't stand the thought of each other out of your lives, that might not be enough. You already tried it once, and it's clear that something is missing. Point is, if you try to get back together and nothing changes, you're just going to end up in the same place that you are now. Friendly disclaimer, everything on these episodes is something I've experienced, something somebody told me in their experiences, or something I wish I told myself. I'm no psychologist, but I have been there. I have gone through it. And if not, I know someone close to me who has. All this to say, you're not dealing with your heart static on your own. I'm right here with you. Now back to the episode. Everyone grieves differently, which is why there's no script that you can read line by line for how to grieve your relationship. That's another thing that makes it so hard. People can give you as much good advice, or bad advice, as they want on how you should go about it all. But none of it means anything if you don't decide for yourself. Now, the problem here is, when you do decide for yourself, there are a lot of emotions in play. You're probably going through the 5 stages of grief, so there's going to be a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, maybe some pride some days, being like, yeah, I don't need them anymore. I don't need this. I never needed this. I'm my own person. Which is, slay. Good for you. But it's a matter of what you do with these emotions and how you handle them. That's the key. Somewhere along the line, you're going to feel the compulsion to dye your hair or go to Europe. Take me with you. Great. Can we go to Greece? And that's all fine. It just depends on why you're doing these things. Say you want to dye your hair fire truck red, right? Because you've always respected the fire department, and you feel the best way to honor them is by dyeing your hair fire truck red. Maybe you want to do it because of that. Great. I support you. But if you're doing that because you want to get your ex-partner's attention, then you're still revolving your life around this person. Your life is no longer entangled with your ex-partner anymore. So, get that brush and detangle your newly polished fire truck red hair from them. Whatever you do coming out of the relationship has to be for yourself. Once again, you are no longer in a relationship with this person. Your life, if you want to grow and become a healthy individual again, your life cannot revolve around this person anymore. So every step that you take towards healing, towards finding yourself again, has to be for you and for you only. I know it's common for exes to become competitive with each other, like, oh, I have to sleep with as many people as possible to make them jealous, or I have to go to all these super fun, super cool places and post them online so they can see them and see how much better I'm doing. No, that's not, you're doing it wrong. Sorry, that's wrong. I don't care how messy the breakup was. I don't care if they cheated on you. I don't care if, they talked bad about your family, whatever. You are not their person anymore. And vice versa. There should be no overlap between your healing journey and theirs, no matter how bad you want it to. Which brings us to my first point. Step number 1, when grieving a breakup, is to go no contact. You have to go no contact. If you think you're different and that you can handle staying friends right out of a breakup, you're wrong. And if you try it and you find that it's working for you, one of two things is happening. 1, you haven't processed the breakup yet, and staying in contact is going to make healing that much harder. 2, you aren't in love with this person, or you haven't been in love for a while, in which case, why did you stay in the relationship in the first place? No contact isn't supposed to be easy. It's necessary for when you're going through a breakup. Like I was saying before, your healing cannot involve this person anymore. And in my personal opinion, it kind of goes against nature to have the person you're grieving help you through that grief. If you were still in love with this person and you broke up and you stayed in contact, you'll still think of them as your person. You'll still want to go to them when something feels wrong, when something is wrong. And that's a common phenomenon, I feel. Like when couples break up, I've heard people say, there's nothing I want more than to talk to them about it. And if you stay in contact, you will want to and probably will talk to them about it. And it would take an extraordinary amount of will to not do that. In which case, if you have that extraordinary amount of will, cut contact with this person. Something that isn't as black and white about it, though, is what your no contact looks like. Does it mean you're just gonna not talk to them anymore? No more calls, no more texts, no more FaceTimes? Or does it mean completely erasing them from your phone? And that depends on the type of person that you are. If you feel comfortable with them existing in your phone, still following them, still having their number saved, that's fine. I would recommend deleting all the pictures you had together because you might feel compelled to go look at them and be sad about what's no longer there. Some people might disagree with me on that because, yes, those are your memories. Yes, that is your life. But after a breakup, your brain's going to be replaying all of those memories for free. And the people in those pictures don't exist anymore. Both of you are changed. You guys don't act the same. You guys maybe don't talk the same. Maybe you picked up some vernacular from your ex-partner and repeating them might bring too much heartache. So you gotta change it back or change it to something different. You have to rewire your brain. You're so used to having your partner to rely on, and without them there, you have to learn how to rely on yourself again. But if you're not the type of person who'd go and check their stories to see what they're doing, who they're with, where they're going, then it's fine if they still exist in your phone. But if a post of theirs pops up on your feed and your heart plummets or it skyrockets, then guess what? Yeah, you have to unfollow them. You can block them if you have to. You can maybe tell them, hey, I'm gonna block you. It's not out of hatred or malice. Unless it is, then just don't say anything. But you can tell them if you feel comfortable, hey, I'm gonna block you, this is just for me and my healing. And if they're emotionally sensible people, if they still care about you, they shouldn't have a problem with that. While you're at it, delete all the friends that you only follow just because they were your ex-partner's friends. Since they're still your ex-partner's friends, they'll probably still be posting them, and then it kind of erases the whole point for removing them from your phone in the first place. No contact will give your heart time to heal. It's totally possible that you'll become friends down the line. Maybe you'll even get back together, but that isn't on the horizon for you right now. What is focusing on healing yourself in the aftermath of your breakup. Which brings us to number 2. You have to let yourself feel it all, which sounds very, very intimidating now that I'm saying it out loud, but you can't shut off your feelings as much as you'd like to. It's tempting, and honestly, on some days, you'll have to. You still gotta go to work, you still gotta study, go to school, whatever responsibilities that you have to do. It's stupid. It's annoying. Why does time keep going when I'm sitting here suffering and I can barely get out of bed? You'll need to distract yourself sometimes. That's survival. You're trying to make it through the day, the hour, the minute, and it all feels like this crushing force on top of you, and it makes it so hard to keep going. My life just changed forever. I can't go back to how it was. But you have to let yourself feel the emotions so that you can move forward. That's part of it, unfortunately, grief. If you shut it out, if you stuff it deep inside, it's just going to come out later in a less opportune time. I mean, there's no opportune time, really. But it's going to make your suffering longer and worse. Maybe it'll be 6 months later, a year later, and you're like, why do I still feel about this? Because you didn't feel about it before. You didn't feel anything before. You shut it down. And then maybe you'll be in a situation where you do have to start feeling again. And then those feelings from this breakup are going to come back to haunt you. So you have to let your brain roll the credits on your relationship. Let it feel. Let yourself think it all. And during that time, you're probably going to have a lot of unanswered questions. You're going to be like, is there something I did? Why did I say that? Maybe this is why we broke up. This, that. Oh my gosh, I should ask my ex-partner why they thought this about me. Why did they say this? Did I mean it this way? Maybe you'll spiral, and that'll tempt you to reach out and ask them, hey, what did you mean by this? Your brain doesn't really know how to process grief. It treats everything like a puzzle. With something as confusing as having something lost in your life. And this is for any experience of grief, not just a relationship. Maybe somebody passed away. Maybe you can't see someone anymore. Your brain is going to start replaying all the moments over and over again. This is the same reason why you get a song stuck in your head, because you can't remember the rest of the lyrics. It's just going to keep playing and playing and playing. What'll solve it is Googling the lyrics. But in this instance, you can't Google the lyrics. You can't go to your ex-partner and ask them what the lyrics to the rest of your song were. When you're replaying it, when your brain is replaying it, you're looking for closure. That's what this is. If you do reach out to your partner, there are a few things that might happen. One, say you ask them, what did I do? It's a very vague question, but let's just stick with it. You reach out, you break no contact, you reach out to your ex-partner, and you're like, what did I do? They might ignore you and have decided already that you're not going to be a part of their life anymore. And if you take that shield away from yourself, you become vulnerable by asking that question, and they don't respond, that'll just make the wound deeper. They might tell you. They might tell you what you did wrong. But if they didn't mention it during the relationship at all, they don't deserve to tell you after the fact. Because they have lacked courage during your actual relationship to bring up, like, hey, I really didn't appreciate how you would go through my phone when I'm not looking, or I didn't appreciate how you would clean up after me. I hate the way you left your hair everywhere, whatever. I don't know if that's the actual cause of a breakup. I'm sure that's a small thing that adds up to a very large thing as to why you broke up. But if they didn't mention it during the relationship, there's no reason for you to give them the opportunity to say it now. They lost their chance. They might tell you the cliche, it's not you, it's me. Will that make it better? Will that make you like, oh, you're right, it is you. Ugh, silly me. Okay, moving on. God, I wish it happened that way. I wish. Depending on the circumstances of your breakup, you might not even believe them. Because again, your brain is trying to solve the puzzle, is trying to solve why you actually broke up, regardless of what you might have actually talked about when you broke up. It's going to keep replaying the same lyrics over and over again until it can reach the end. Like I said, you can't Google the lyrics to the end of your song. You can't reach out to your ex-partner and ask what you did, because it'll just make everything worse. So what's left? It's the silence. And as hard as it's going to be, you're going to have to find closure in the silence of that. Closure comes when you're finally able to look at the relationship and see what went wrong, what went right, and realize that you two just weren't meant for each other. If you're struggling finding peace in the silence, the silence represents how much you opened your heart, how much you loved, how much passion you had. And it takes some effort to find that. It takes effort to find it in the first place. Or maybe you stumbled upon it. Then you're twice as lucky, because you weren't even looking for it. It's going to take time for you to appreciate the relationship for what it was. Everyone serves as a lesson for you. You learn something about how you interact with everyone, how you live, how you love, who you are. And you can take this time, because your brain's going to be playing it back for you anyway and thinking about it all the time, keeping you up at night. You can use this time to figure out what you learned from it all. Which brings us to step number 3. When you get up out of bed one day and look down at it and realize there's a weird grief-shaped dent in it, it's time for you to go on a walk. You've been rotting for a while. You've been sad, feeling all the feelings, and it's time for you to get up. You can call a friend and just communicate with them. I need to cry. I need someone to talk to. I need someone to knock some sense into me. Or just, eat chocolate and watch a sappy movie. Whatever. Start leaning on your friends. Go on a walk. Make a meal you haven't made in a while. Maybe you'll start getting sick of it, too. You're like, ugh, I can't. I hate mourning this. I'm so done with it. I'm tired of the headaches I'm getting from crying. I'm tired of being in the same clothes. I'm over it. I can't do it anymore. That'll encourage you to start appreciating the freedom that you got. You were giving so much of your time, so much of your day to this person, and now you don't have to anymore. For the longest time, you were a we, however long the relationship was. But you have to remember that you were always a me, an I. Even during the relationship, you were a me. You were a me-we. A we-me? Don't be a weenie. Be a me. You have to remember what being a me is. You're using this time to rediscover who you were before the relationship. It's actually, you're kind of piecing yourself back together. You're taking the pieces that you were before the relationship and the pieces that are left after the relationship, and those pieces are probably moments you've grown, moments you've learned about yourself, moments you've learned about people, and you're putting all these pieces together and you're generating a new version of yourself, a new you, a new me. And of course it'll take time for you to put these pieces together. It might encourage you to pick up a new hobby, something that doesn't remind you of your ex-partner, because that's something that will plague you during this time. Eventually, you might feel healed. You might feel good for the first time in a while. You might feel okay for a time. You might not be able to remember the last time you cried or the last time you felt weighed down by what you went through. But then you'll see something, you'll hear something, you'll smell something, and it'll all come rushing back. Or maybe you'll be laying at night trying to fall asleep, and then a memory pops into your head, and it'll all come rushing back. But the difference is, when those feelings do come back, those memories of how heartbroken you were, it won't feel as sharp or as painful as it did in the beginning. That's something to be proud of, because it means you're taking the time for yourself to heal and to grow. Also, if you find yourself feeling guilty for laughing or for having a good time with your friends, for genuinely enjoying yourself, don't take it away from yourself. You can't. You don't owe them anything anymore. You can laugh without them there. That's the whole point. You can be a person again without them there. You're your own person now. As you're working through this, you're slowly getting to meet the new person that you're becoming, that you're creating. And there are so many more other versions of yourself that only time can introduce you to. Who knows what you'll have to go through to meet all these new yous? It might be just as hard as what you're going through right now. It might be even harder. But that's what evolves us. That's what changes us. That's what lets us grow and become who we're meant to be, who we want to be. These obstacles, these moments of pain, doubt, worry, that's what motivates us to become what we need to be. We become our own inspirations. And you are free to do whatever it is your heart desires now. Your goals, your aspirations know no bounds. The only person that can keep you from getting to who you want to become, from who you were meant to become, is yourself. You can't let doubt seep into your thoughts. You can't let anything hold you back. Grief will try to take your joys away from you. And if you let it, it will. That's not to say that all those thoughts and all those memories won't come back anymore. They will, and they probably will for a while. But you can't let any of that stop you anymore. You've felt it all, you've thought it all, you've done everything you can. And now it's time for the new you to come into the light. Which brings me to my final point. Step number 4, realize you've moved on. And this isn't something you'll be able to count down to, and it shouldn't be something you're waiting for. It'll come on its own, which is why it's something you realize. One day you'll wake up, or you'll be in the middle of hanging out with your friends, or watching your new favorite TV show that you found, and it'll dawn on you. It doesn't hurt anymore, or maybe not nearly as much as it did before. And you can look back on your relationship and truly appreciate everything that it was, who you were at the time, what this person has made you, how you've grown after that. When this moment comes, and it will, well, honestly, I'm not really sure what it'll do. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still bouncing around, figuring myself out. I'm currently putting the new me together. She's in the shop for now. But I've noticed that I'm becoming more present within myself. I'm learning more as I go. And I can honestly say I'm proud of who I feel myself becoming. I'm interested. I'm excited. I'm excited to meet me. The new me. SK 2.0. And I know that there are different versions of me to come. And I know I'll have to probably climb through hell and back to get to them, to meet them. But I'm starting to become willing to actually do it, because I know that they'll be stronger, and they'll be able to look back at me, at who I was before, at who I'm becoming now, and they'll be proud of me too. At least I like to think so. No matter what stage in the aftermath of a breakup you're in, I want you to know that it does get better, and I could tell you whatever I want, but you won't be able to feel it until you're already there. But you will get there, and I'll see you there. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the music in this podcast, they were made by my friend Dari Kolchitsky, and you can find more of his information at warmglowrecords.com. That's warmglowrecords.com. Make sure to follow Heartstatic on Instagram at heartstaticpodcast, where I'll be posting teasers of future episodes and questions that I'll be including in other future episodes. Make sure to follow Heartstatic wherever you find your podcasts, and stay tuned for the next episode, uploaded every other Thursday. See you then!